This time of year, we're inundated with suggestions for changes that we can make to greatly improve our lives in the new year. New Year's resolutions to improve our health and surroundings may be useful and even beneficial. However, if you are among those who have experienced the loss of a loved one during this past year, these types of messages may ring hollow for you. As the calendar page turns, we have Kristen Wenzel with us today from Hospice of the Red River Valley to talk about New Year's resolutions. Thank you so much for coming in today. Just in the break, I was just getting a little emotional thinking it's just so hard knowing and having loved ones that have had to go through the holiday season, maybe for the first time, maybe for the 10th time without a loved one. This can be a very hard time for people who are dealing with loss.
It is, and it is, we talked a little bit too about the fact that even just all the other changes that are going on, the seasons are changing, it's colder, you're stuck in the house a little bit more, you don't have the ability to get out and move around. Loss is hard, and it's also something that is important that we kind of figure out how to do, because we're faced with it every single day, whether you do my job or your job or just living the life that we live. So I think it's really important to have these discussions and to talk about it and to know that even the emotions that you're feeling, Lisa, I think it's really important to be able to know that that's okay.
I'm supposed to lead this interview, and she just told me, it's all right, if you want to cry during this interview, that's fine. I'm like, it's hard. Grief and loss, it's sad, and you just want to fix it for people.
And I think that's one of the challenges is that we do want just to make people feel better, and we can't always do that. Sometimes we just have to be there and listen and just be support and be able to help them through whatever it is that they're doing.
And I led off the top with saying it's time for New Year's resolutions, and I said, are there resolutions for grief? And you said you don't necessarily call them New Year's resolutions.
We call them New Year's resolutions for grief, and we actually have a great handout. If you go to our website, you'll be able to find it. But one of the things that we like to talk about is I think when you think about resolutions, I think we think those are things that we want to change that are negative in our life. And grief isn't necessarily something negative. So one of the things that we like to take a little bit of a twist in is to say, how can we resolve to do the things that we know we need to do to help ourselves get better or to help those people in our lives? I think the New Year's resolutions for grief can affect you as a friend and a family member who has somebody who has had a loss, but we can also look at them for ourselves as the person who is grieving. And they're very simply is to most of them talk about accepting where we're at. Don't judge others. Don't make decisions based on what you think you should be doing or what you shouldn't be doing. Really, truly listen to where your body is right now. Everybody's going to have an opinion for you, and doesn't necessarily mean that it's a right opinion. I always tell some of the clients that I'm working with, one of the best things you can say to somebody if they give you advice on how you're grieving is just say, you know what, I appreciate your opinion. You don't have to listen to it, but you can at least acknowledge that they care enough to give you an opinion.
That's true. It's a lot of times coming from the right place, but it will get better with time. You will feel better.
They're in a better place.
There's a lot of things
all those things.
The person's meaning. So what's the first step then, or the second step for people who are really having a hard time with the new year and they're still grieving?
Well, I think to talk about it, to reach out to somebody, to look, one of the things that I want people to understand about Hospice of the Red River Valley is that you don't have to have had a loved one die under our service to be able to take advantage of our grief support. Our grief support is open to the community. Give us a call, the 800 number, or go to our website. There's all sorts of information. But one of my favorite resolutions or on our sheet is every day make a choice to do one thing that feels good to you and to be okay with that. Even if it's just today I'm going to get up and I'm going to take a shower. That might be the first step that you need to take. But just doing something every day and then allowing yourself the grace and everyone around you the grace to know that we're all doing the best we can to get through this. But talking to people, acknowledging it, one of the things that we talk about in our groups is the more you talk about your loved one and the more you let other people understand that it's okay to say their name and to talk about them. And even for your friends who've had losses is to just call and say, you know what, I'm thinking about you today. day. You don't have to have any great answers. You don't have to have the world figured out, just to let them know that you're there.
We can all do that.
Absolutely. It's a real easy. Be kind.
It's great what you do, and it can help so many people. If you are grieving and feel like you could use some support,
Absolutely.
give you guys a call.
Give us a call. We're happy to help in any way we can.
Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
We'll be right back here on North Dakota Today.